Hey, how's it going? It's Karl, aka Karl Drum Tech, and I'm here right now in Palos Verdes Peninsula here in California. And it's really cool to be living in a place like Torrance, where a place like this is so close by. So as you can see behind me, what an amazing view this is with the ocean and the peninsula over here. It's absolutely breathtaking, and it's just right in my backyard, and I'm so fortunate, so glad to be able to live where I live. But what I wanted to talk about today is the topic of leadership. And VW Blogs asked me a question in the comment section of the YouTube channel, one of my videos, and he asked me, if I could talk about leadership, because he's going to be a section leader or a pit section leader, front ensemble section leader next year, and his band director kind of gave him some pointers, but he wanted to kind of hear my take on leadership, and it's gonna go a little bit something like this. So first of all, if anybody's seen the show Game of Thrones, okay, you don't need to watch it or anything like that, but let me just describe it for you. It's back in, it's a story that's set in like a medieval period. It's fictional, it's not based in reality or anything like that, but it's a medieval time, and you have kings and queens and things like that, and you have this king who inherited the throne from his father who died. So, but he's like a 13-year-old kid or 12-year-old kid, something like that. And the thing with this king, his name is Joffrey. He's cruel, okay? So he's cruel. He loves having a crown on his head. He loves having that power, and he uses that power for cruelty. He's not afraid to use it for cruelty. Like cutting people's tongues out, if they do something wrong, or like, making people like drink, like just punishing people in very cruel ways. Like having his knights beat like the girl he's supposed to marry. Just really awful stuff, right? And there was one particular scene where, the king in the show, the king has a hand, okay? The hand of the king is like the second in command kind of thing. And the hand of the king is his grandfather. His name is Tywin, okay? So they have this little council meeting, and basically King Joffrey goes on this tirade where he goes, I am the king! Like, I will punish you and I will do whatever I want to you. And Tywin, the hand of the king, says, any man who must say, I am the king is no true king. Now, of course, Joffrey was not happy with this, but the thing is, and Joffrey said some offhanded remark that, maybe Tywin is not going to be pleased to hear. And Tywin, just this older guy, he's super smart, super experienced, and like, even though in the face of the king, he can look at him dead in the eye with a what the hell did you just say kind of look, and then just basically turn to his council and say, the king is tired, he needs to go to bed. And basically, the Queen Regent, who's the mother of Joffrey, it says, just basically says, okay, like, let's go, and the Queen is Tywin's, daughter and stuff like that, and she's just like, okay, yeah, let's go to bed. And then, Joffrey's like, no, I'm not tired, like, it's not time for bed. What are you talking about? And Tywin's just looking at him still in the eye, like, go to bed. And then what happens? Joffrey basically, leaves the council. Now, Tywin is not the king, okay, but he has this power, right? He's not doing anything that's gonna maybe get him killed, but at the same time he exerts like a force of will without a title, okay? So, and that is just basically the broad spectrum of what I'm trying to tell you, is that you don't need a title to be a leader. You don't need to have a crown to be a king. Basically, it's just a state of mind. It's how you are, it's how you act, it's how you influence people that makes you a leader, not a title. And I've told this to my drumline students over and over again. I know I've said this before, in that, especially the students, the older students who, maybe weren't chosen to be a leader, but I still counted on them because of their experience, because they're older. So what I tell them is, you don't have to have a title to be effective. You don't have to have a title. You don't have to be the drum captain. You don't have to be the pit section leader to be effective and and inspire people to basically better the objectives of the entire group. All you have to do is basically set the example, which we've all heard before, right? Set a good example, do what you're supposed to do it really well, and do it enthusiastically, and then everybody will just basically follow along because they'll see somebody who's like, wow, they're really doing a thing that looks really cool. I want to do that, and then then eventually they just want to join. So, but in that case, you don't have a title, right? You're not the session leader, but you can still be a leader. You can still be a person of influence. Now, when you actually do have the title, okay, just because you have it doesn't mean that people will do what you say. Doesn't mean that people will actually respect you, okay? Now, they might do it, right? Just like in the case of Game of Thrones, where, because you're the king, right? If you say something happens, they might do it. They're gonna do it, right? They have to do it because that's how it is. Like, the leader says this, you have to do it. But the thing is, right, even today, okay? So if you're the boss, if you're the section leader, if you tell somebody to do something and you're not like a good leader, you're not a good person, you don't treat people well, they're not gonna follow you. They'll do what you say, but they might not do the best job, they might not be enthusiastic, and they might just hate your guts, okay? Just because like you are not like, you basically don't treat them with respect, okay? So what you want to be is somebody who influences people to get people to do what you need them to do. Now, so basically to that point, all right, about how if you don't treat people a certain way, they won't follow you. I had a situation, I was in a teaching situation where I was in teaching a drum corps, and we had problems with the snare line. And basically the center snare is the section leader of the whole line, and the staff was away. They were rehearsing, they're having a visual rehearsal, and we heard about an issue where one of the snare players had an insubordination issue, where basically the section leader told him to do something, and this snare player said, no, I'm not gonna do it. Now, at face value, the staff was like, how dare that kid say no to the section leader? What the heck is he thinking? We're gonna give him a good verbal bashing. But once we go talk to this student and we ask him like, what's up, what are you doing? He basically says, well, the section leader is an asshole. Like, he talks down to us, he is very condescending, and he makes us all feel stupid, okay? So, but then when we talk to the rest of the line, they basically say the same thing. This guy is not nice. He is, he's very, he treats people like they're dumb, and he's very condescending. So this entire season was basically a struggle to get especially in the snare line, to get them to basically work together and and even just like play well together, just because there's all these like emotional, mental issues about how the section leader is and how he doesn't respect them and things like that. So that just goes to show you, we gave a title to this person, like, yes, you're the section leader, but then he wasn't able to effectively get everybody else to respect him and do what they need to do and be inspired to do their absolute best job. Now, I'm not just knocking this guy because because I'm going to tell you right now, he's a great player. He went on to March Blue Devils, March RCC, and he is absolutely like a really good person. It's just that at the time, it wasn't the right situation for him to be a leader, and he wasn't very successful, in my opinion. Now, and that's the thing, like I've heard so many, like analogies back when I was in high school, like, if people don't like you, that means you're doing a great job as a leader. I completely disagree with that statement, like 100%. Like, it's not about getting people to like you, but you need to get people to respect you, and you have to be able to inspire people to want to do the things that you need them to do, because it's going to help the betterment of the entire group. Now, let's get into the specifics of how you're supposed to act as a leader, whether you have a title or not. There is a great book by Stephen Covey, and it's called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now, that's, part of the title is effective, right? You have to be effective. You have to affect people to do certain things. You have to inspire them to do certain things. And how do you do that? Well, basically what I learned in the book is that you have to respect people, okay? It's not about like, because you have this title, you're the leader, you're the boss, that you're above everybody else or that you're better than everybody else. In some cases, that may be true. You might be more experienced, you might be better trained, you might be better at a lot of different things. But guess what? It doesn't mean you're a better person. Let me say that again. It doesn't mean you're a better person. Nobody's above anybody else. Everybody's the same. Everybody has the same blood. Everybody breathes the same air. We're all equal in so many different ways. And even as a leader or not, you have to treat people with respect. You have to treat people like, they're on your level. When you treat people that way, that is actually when, you create these good vibes between two people. And like when people feel that respect with one another, then they can actually do some stuff together. Like, hey, let's do this. Cool, let's do that. Hey, we got to do this. All right, nice. That is the mark of a good leader. You have to basically talk to people, hear them out one-on-one, see what they're all about, and basically get on the same level as them. It's not about being above. Just because you're a leader, just because you're the king, it doesn't mean you're better than anybody else. You have to have this humble mentality like, yo, I'm on the same level as you. Yeah, I'm the leader. I have this title. Maybe I have more experience because, and that's gonna help us, me being the leader is gonna help because I have more experience. But at the end of the day, we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to, make this group better. So what can we do to make it better? There's also another, if you scour the internet, I'm sure you've seen the images where, what's the difference between a boss and a leader, right? So the boss is the guy sitting on the chair and the people under him are pulling the chair, and the boss has a whip and just whipping the people to pull the chair, right? But the leader is actually down on the ground with everybody else pulling that chair, okay? And that is the mark of a true leader, and that is something I truly believe in. If you're a leader, you're down there in the dirt, getting dirty with everybody else, making it happen. And maybe you have a title or whatever the case may be, but you're working just as hard as everybody else, maybe even harder, because you need to set the example. So that is the mark of a true leader. That is how you become effective, and that doesn't require a title, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't require you for people to say you're the boss or you're the leader, the section leader, anything like that. You can affect people in so many ways just by who you are as a person and how you treat people with respect. And let me just give one more shout out. I met somebody named Andrew Wright on Facebook in basically a drumline forum on Facebook, and we connected one-on-one, and he told me that what he found highly effective, because he's a band director, and what he found highly effective with the staff and with the students is that if he talks to them like we versus you, right? So what I mean by that, basically instead of saying you need to do this, you need to do that, don't do that, you are doing this, you. So instead of using you, he uses the words we, us, we need to do this, we need to do that. It's all about us. Then he found that people are much more responsive to we and us rather than you, right? Because you is like, just you. You're the one that's not perfect. You're the one who needs to do this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Versus like we're all in this together. We're all trying to do the same thing. I might be the band director, I might be the section leader, I might be the boss, but I'm no better than you. We're all doing this thing together. We're all going to work hard. That is the mark of a truly effective and good leader. So that's basically all I wanted to talk about today. Thank you so much if you've been watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, yo, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, where basically I just give my thoughts based on my experience, and just basically talk on some things that could hopefully help you. So that's all I have for today. Again, thank you so much if you've been watching. If you've been watching all my stuff, if you're a subscriber, if you comment, if you thumb up the videos, I really, really appreciate you. So thank you so much. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
I am the king. I will punish you.
Any man who must say, I am the king, is no true king. I'll make sure you understand that when I've won your war for you.
My father won the real war. He killed Prince Rhaegar. He took the crown while you hid under Castle Rock.
The king is tired. See him to his chambers.
Come along.
I'm not tired.
We have so much to celebrate. A wedding to plan. You must rest.
Grand Maester. Perhaps some essence of nightshade to help him sleep.
I'm not tired!
Come.
You just sent the most powerful man in Westeros to bed without his supper.
You're a fool if you believe he's the most powerful man in Westeros.
A treasonous statement. Joffrey is king.
You really think a crown gives you power?
No.